everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being present. Thank you for taking a pause in your day. And thank you for being curious over what we're doing here at TFA Champions. So today we're going to talk about several things. So the first thing is going to be agent benefits. So what you can expect to receive if you become a TFA Champions agent. We're also going to be talking about how adding in financial services into your real estate business, your mortgage business, honestly, whatever industry you're in, really adds in seamlessly. So we're going to touch on that and how it better supports your clients, better services them. And I'm going to talk about systems and support that you can expect to receive in becoming a TFA Champions agent. And one of the main things we're going to talk about today is living trusts. So a lot of you agents have expressed to me that there's a big need from your clients to have a resource. So by the end of today, if you feel comfortable coming to the financial architects as a resource for your living trust, then my goal is met. So the person who's going to help me today with this live is a person who has been in the industry for 3 years. He was the first person ever to assist me in my first ever client case, my first ever policy. So I'm really grateful to him for all the time he's put into training me, into giving me little tips and tricks within the financial industry. So Pablo Moreno will be joining us now.
Hi, Pablo. What's going on? What's going on? Wow, I feel like a superstar right there. Like the all-star introduction. Thank you so much, TFA Champions, Remax Champions. Thank you, Brooke, for really just thinking about me and having me on. I'm really appreciative of everything that you guys are doing. I'm super proud of what you got going on, man. Like it's such a refreshing like feeling to know that, you know, people like you and I are really out to do business, not just transactional, but really from a wholesome type of approach. I know you're moving the same way. I know you guys are building it out very similarly. I mean, we've had the conversation. So, you know, I'm really excited to really just educate and elevate, you know, the audience and provide value. Really, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, you know?
Exactly. We definitely are on the same path, and just seeing how we're trying to implement our spirituality and our wanting to be of service to others and really, help people in that way. So it's a blessing to work together. It's a blessing to collaborate. So thank you again for being here. I really appreciate you.
Of course. Likewise.
Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to dive into is living trusts, because I feel like the majority of the agents who are listening right now are really curious over living trusts, whether it's what a living trust is or how we can be a resource for them. So can you open up and just explain what is a living trust?
Yeah, no, I think that's an awesome question. And, you know, the introduction that you were giving just before, I know it's a question that a lot of not only real estate professionals have. I was just having a meeting right before this webinar with a couple of my tax offices. And it is such a massive need. And one of the statistics that we were going over, we actually had our estate planning team with us. And one of the notes that I wrote down, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but only 30% of homeowners in California actually even have a living trust. And the way that I like to explain it is, just imagine you guys were going out on vacation, right? If I were to ask you, Brooke, where would you want to go to like for a vacation? Where would you say? Guadalajara. Okay. So when you went to Guadalajara and you guys leave on an airplane, I highly doubt you would probably leave your house unlocked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're leaving the house, right? You're not going to be home. And essentially the way that I like to break down a living trust is you're making sure that your home is secured. What does your home mean? Well, not only tangible items like real estate that you guys have or potential tangible items, but how about a little bit more than that? What about our kids? What about decisions that we're making? God forbid we were to go down with any type of a illness or anything like that. Who's going to be, in other words, who's going to have that authorization to pull the plug or make financial decisions for you while you're, let's just say, God forbid, in a coma or something like that, right? It's protection on your estate, right? It's what I like to say. It's like the real life safe of your assets, of your business, of your family, right? And You know, I
So
like to
what would
correlate.
happen if you don't have a living trust as well? So if you don't have a living trust, what could possibly happen to your assets?
Well, essentially, if we don't have some type of a living trust, we have the possibility into going into something called probate, right?
Mhm.
And aside from educating it, you know, I always, whenever I speak with a lot of my clients, I always like to tell them my personal experience with probate, right? And my personal experience, I mean, Brooke, you've heard me talk about this a couple of times. Is for those of you guys that don't know a little bit about my story, my father, you know, very well known, you know, entrepreneur in the restaurant industry, came here from Mexico City when he was 23 years old, and you know, built really an empire. Unfortunately, like a lot of Latinos, we don't and we aren't really educated when it comes to estate planning and financial planning and things of that nature. Like for us, for my demographic, Brooke, like hard work is not the problem. It's having the education to make the right decisions, right?
Mhm.
So when my dad passed away in 2009, the 7 brothers and sisters that I have, you know, because he didn't have a living trust or any life insurance or anything like that you guys also provide, you know, we went into probate. And 90% of his estate, I'll repeat, 90% of his estate was absolutely lost, attorney's fees, taxes. And just so you guys have an idea, the probate process not only tears families apart, but it's extremely expensive. Roughly 8% of somebody's estate value will be what they approximately pay in taxes. Okay.
Got it.
So just do the math on that. Family arguments, is it really worth the time? Or would you want to just pay $2,000, roughly just under $2,000 to get a living trust put in place and making sure everything is protected? And that's exactly what it is that we're providing, right? That's one of
Mhm.
the assets that you have in having Brooke, having the financial architects as an ally to your business.
Yeah, and you mentioned something earlier too about the Hispanic community and how that demographic isn't being catered to and serviced the way that they should be serviced. And I'm starting to see that a lot in Remax Champions. I'm seeing a lot of, the Hispanic community saying that they need these services in Spanish. So we're converting our flyers to Spanish. And, I'm getting agents who are getting licensed, who speak Spanish, who are very fluent, who can reach the Hispanic community. But that's also really important too, to reach them. And I'm Mexican, but again, I need to get more in touch with my roots. I need to learn
Yeah.
Spanish.
Yeah.
We're getting there, but that's definitely something that, I need to also build that skill so that we can service them and we can cater to them. And I know that's very near and dear to your heart as well, with your background and, your mission also.
Yeah. You know, I think personally for me, it definitely hits home. Not only because of what I went through early on. Obviously, that's the reason why I do what I do, is because I don't want other families in general to go through what I went through. But I am extremely passionate about helping my Latino community. You know, my dad's side of the family, they come from Mexico City. My mom's side of the family, which if you guys kind of know me and a little bit of my background, I don't always represent the Cuban side, but I do rep it a lot more than I do my Mexican side, just because I was raised Cuban. You know what I mean? And my family's from Havana. But I see it all the time. I mean, I work very closely with a lot of my Latin demographics. And I was just sitting with a family last night, actually. The Latin community I feel like they have their guard up when it comes to having these conversations, you know,
Yes.
and I was telling my buddy last night, one of my clients, I was like, man, look, I know it's not an easy conversation to have, bro. I really do. And I really like, I connect with him more on a relationship type of level. And the way I like to explain it is that, look, don't think about the death. At the end of the day, we're all going to pass. Yes, I get it. But why not find ways where we could actually leverage these things, these tools, really? Because at the end of the day, all these things are our tools that we could actually use while we're still living, whether it be to invest into real estate, to leverage. I mean, I know a lot of people in real estate love the word leverage, right? And I think that that's a big key point, is how can we leverage these services? How can we leverage these tools to build upon our wealth? You know what I mean? Because here in the United States, like I said earlier, the Latin community, hard work is not the problem. It's just being educated. So para mi gente Latina, like, I just want you guys to know, like, we're here to strictly just educate and elevate you guys. You know, I'm going to throw a little commercial in there. Educate and Elevate is actually a podcast that we're launching right now. Me and one of my business partners, Armando, And it's to really just educate and elevate the Latin community. So if you're on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, give us a follow at Educate and Elevate Podcast. But again, it's to really just educate everybody when it comes to finance, entrepreneurship, leadership, and really it's going to be a revolutionary platform. But again, it falls in line with the core values, very much like how you have your guys' core values with TFA Champions and the Financial Architects, Remax Champions, and everything that you guys got going on over there. At the end of the day, it's all about like just providing the value, though. How can we educate communities? And it's not just the Latin community, but it's everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's building that trust as well. And that's also why I love the Financial Architects, because we market ourselves as a discount brokerage. We market ourselves as the fact that we can work with several different carriers to get you a specific product, a specific plan. So we're at the end of the day, we have the best interest of our clients at heart. And we want to service them the best way we can. And also, when it comes to the Hispanic community, building that trust, educating them so that they understand what the products are, they understand how this can really help their families and help, leave a legacy for them. But thank you so much. I love that. And definitely check out his podcast. He's very ambitious. He has a lot of aspirations. And one thing I admire about Pablo is he doesn't hold these goals and, just have them in his head, but he actually follows them and he actually chases them and he brings them into life. He brings them into manifestation.
Can't do that. I can't do that without surrounding myself with amazing people like you and your team. That's for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So we're going to pivot a little bit. So I just wanted to get an overview of what opportunities come as a part of being, part of the TFA Champions team. So what are the benefits behind becoming an agent?
Yeah, no, I think that's an amazing question. And I like to share more through like storytelling and through real life scenarios that I've actually gone through, right? Mm-hmm. I had the opportunity yesterday as well in the morning to go out to the city of Palmdale to help one of my agents. And we were speaking to a real estate office, right? And we were, going over the products and services and stuff like that. And by the end of the entire seminar, a lot of them were asking, how can we get involved with something like this? Because at the end of the day, I think it all comes back to like, we are honestly, for the majority of people in the real estate profession, we're dealing with people's biggest purchases of their lives, right? Whether it be a commercial building, a commercial lease, a residential home, right? Multifamily, whatever the case may be, right? For the most part, like not everyone has the opportunity to be a homeowner, right? And most times we have to understand that they think they're getting into the biggest investment ever. And most times, it actually is, right? But what I want, and when I speak to real estate offices or real estate professionals, I'm trying to switch the mindset of don't just think that you're a real estate agent. You're more than that. You're somebody that these individuals are really trusting with their finances. So, when I talk about, I have this little marketing piece, if we could pull it up, it's the Buying a Home One piece. And what I like to say is, as the financial architects or as TFA Champions architect, right? Mm-hmm. Lead with, you're a financial strategist, right? You guys could see here that you're already dealing with the families or with the business owners, right? You're working closely. Maybe some of you guys are lenders. You're more on the lending side. You're dealing with the pre-approvals. You're already seeing if they have 401ks, retirement accounts, other real estate assets. You're working to purchase the piece of real estate. More than likely, you're probably already dealing with the income provider. So little questions that you could lead with are like, God forbid, like Bob and Mary, like if something were to happen to you and you go down with like an illness and you can't pay the mortgage or your income is affected, right? Or you lose your job, like, what are you going to do with your 401k? Or, maybe how are you going to protect your income and replace that? Well, there's something called living benefits inside of life insurance policies, right? That you could actually still use while you're living, right? Living benefits really quick. In the case of a heart attack, stroke, cancer, terminal illness, chronic illness, critical injury, right? How is the income provider of the piece of real estate that you're putting somebody in, how are they going to protect that income? You have the ability to do so, right? So what a lot of people do is that they sell the piece of real estate and they move on. why not continue that conversation and say, hey, we got you the piece of real estate. Let's implement some policies, life insurance, living trust, right? What are we doing with our retirement planning, right? Our financial planning, right? Maybe do you guys have kids, right? Are we providing some type of a savings account for them, right? Because you guys have to understand that as real estate agents, people are looking at you guys as just real estate agents. And that's great, right? So we'll talk about the different options and stuff like that. But what I'll say is that, like, as a when you brand yourself as a TFA Champions agent, like, I want you guys to take that to heart, because people are trusting you guys. People are trusting you with the ability to now completely take care of their entire family. Now imagine when I have it all the time, right? I'm not a real estate license agent yet, right? But when I do become one, I mean, just think about it like this. Like, I'm dealing with people's finances all day, right? So when I'm dealing with people's finances and I ask them, hey, what do you want to do in the next 5-10 years? Oh, I want to buy a home. Oh, awesome. So wouldn't that be a real estate lead for me?
Mm-hmm.
All the
Exactly.
time? I could easily sell a piece of real estate and way like, well, have you tried buying one? Have you gotten a pre-approval? The lenders that I work with, they love me because I'm always sending out referrals, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I do that is because I lead with a financial strategist. I don't lead with, I'm a lender, I'm a real estate agent, right? I'm branding myself. Brooke is branding herself. How are you branding your guys' self in your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to brand yourself as a financial strategist, although I would recommend it, because now you have the ability to go so many different ways, right? Which we'll kind of get into in the ways that you could do that. But I hope that kind of answers your question as far as, like, what are the benefits of being a TFA Champions agent? I think there's a lot of benefits to that. Aside from, I mean, let's keep it real. Financial services is one of the top paying industries in the world, along with real estate, right? So the opportunity to make money it's definitely there.
And could you expand on what you just said right there? So it's becoming a really big industry right now, and for 4 different reasons. Could you bring up those reasons? So the U.S. debt, those
Yeah.
aspects as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 4 major concerns that are going on right now in the United States, right? And if you guys are taking notes, I would definitely write this down, because, again, when we go back to the roots of it, all we want to do is lead with education, right? And now when we're able to educate somebody, they could make a better decision whether they want to buy a piece of real estate, whether they want to buy a home, XYZ. And the 4 major concerns that are going on right now in the United States as we speak, number 1 are baby boomers. So who are the baby boomers? Probably our parents, if they were born between the years of 1946 and 1964, right? Right after World War II, all of these vets came back. They started pumping out babies. Boom, the baby boomer generation. Well, right now, 10,000 baby boomers every single day are turning 65, and they have absolutely no plan on how to retire, the majority of them. So right now, what we're seeing, like if you go to Walmart, for example, we see unfortunately, like a lot of people going back to work, they're a lot older. And the reason is that they didn't save properly for retirement, right? So there's a huge need right now for retirement planning. The second major concern, the U.S. healthcare system. I have a couple of nurses that have left. They got tired of, everything that happened with COVID. And now they decided to switch their career and get into whether it be real estate or financial services, not to mention the rise in costs in healthcare, right? On average, and this is a really good point, on average right now, to have an in-home nurse, we're looking at anywhere between $8,000 to $11,000 a month, right? Imagine somebody that needs long-term care. So what is the long-term care plan for our people, right? I like to use my mom as an example. My mom's not married. She doesn't have anybody. She has my brothers and myself, right? But in all reality, like, we're going to try and break generational curses here. And it's really important. And I say this to I speak to a lot of single moms all the time, right? You want to be with a man, not because you have to, but because you want to. I say that again. You want to be with your man because you want to, not because you have to, right? So for my females and even my males, who's going to take care of us in the future, right? What long-term care plan do we have, right? Because if we don't have one, then they move the suegra, or the mom ends up moving in with the kids. The kids are married. That causes problems. Boom, generational curses. It happens in the Latin community all the time. I see it. So number two, the rising costs in healthcare. What is your long-term care plan, right? The third major concern right now, Social Security. They've already announced that Social Security is probably going to be running out of money by the year of 2034, right? So when we're talking about that, we're having that conversation, people that are banking on Social Security, they've nicknamed it social insecurity, right? So the money's not going to be there. How are we going to be making money, right? And then the fourth major concern economically right now, which I think is one of the biggest ones, is our U.S. debt. We just surpassed $31 trillion. Again, I say we just surpassed $31 trillion. So when we start thinking about how that money is going to get repaid, the only way we could repay that debt is by raising taxes in the future. So if Brooke was my client, I would ask her, after everything I just said, do you think taxes are going to go up a little bit or a lot in the future?
A lot.
Probably a lot, right? So what if I were to tell you, you can make an investment to cover your family, cover your income, and also leverage in the future as a tax-free retirement to now pull out money without having to pay taxes on it? What would you probably say?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I sign?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And I tell everybody, hey, it's not for everybody, right? This product is not for everybody, but it's definitely something that we could leverage, believe it or not, to now buy more real estate in the future. So a lot of you guys probably work with real estate investors. Did you guys know that you could actually leverage a tax-free retirement account or a strategy called infinite banking, right? Where you can leverage these policies to now buy real estate in the future. Maybe you want to flip, maybe you want to, buy multiple pieces of real estate, open up a business, whatever it is that you want to do. Imagine making money in two places at one time. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what financial education is. Right? And the mindset that I want to get you guys in is like, yes, there's a lot of concerns. Yes, there's a lot of things that we could potentially do other than just sell our clients a piece of real estate, right?
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about just educating and giving options. We're not trying to it's not a one size fits all. I mean, I think you and I are really obviously in the understanding is that there's a lot of different options. Yes, there's a lot to learn, but if we're not learning, we're growing. Right. And when I learn something new, I get super passionate about it. I'm like, I never stop talking about it. Right. Because I really believe that in the future, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to us and the decisions that we make today, not only from an emotional standpoint, which I love what we're both doing, the journey that we've been on, breaking generational curses, generational thought patterns. I think that's massive, but also the relationship that we have with finances is something that's massive. And the way that we improve that relationship with finances is just by getting educated.
Very true. And I know for those listening, this can seem like a lot. It's a lot of information that's being thrown at you, a lot of new ideas. Maybe you've known about these concepts before. But yeah, it can be a lot. It can be a lot to think about finances. And some people shy away from it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want anything, they don't want to have that burden. But if you are interested, in what we've talked about, and you're interested in adding this as a part of your business horizon and your set of tools within your belt, just know that at TFA, we have a lot of systems and support along the way. So in terms of systems, we have access to a technology that basically allows you to get the information from your client. Let's say you're just beginning in financial services. You have no idea what products to use, no idea, how to get them coverage, but they have that need. They're coming to you with that need. You're able to leverage that technology, get them the right, plan for them, get them the right product through that technology, through that sphere of professionals that, helps with the technology, and get them coverage. So that's one system. Another system we have is our new platform, our new portal with the new CRM system. You can track all your leads. You can track all the business you've done. You have access to training videos. So there's that as well. And then we have a really big support system. So we have a whole team of professionals, Pablo included. I mean, he's helped me in my, journey into financial services, but we have a whole team a professional is here to help you and to guide you, support you, answer your questions, team up with you if you don't know, again, how to run an appointment, how to cater to when your clients and their needs. You can go, ask them for help. So you're constantly supported here at TFA. And we also, in terms of support, so we have our team of attorneys for our Living Trust platform. So again, we are a resource for Living Trust, and we can help you and your clients in that way. We work with multi-billion-dollar insurance companies, and we have registered investment advisors, IRAs. But all of that to say, we have so much support. You're not just alone when you join TFA Champions. It's not just, your real estate and now you have to learn everything about financial services. You have so much support and systems within this platform.
Yeah, something I want to add on to that, Brooke. I think you made a lot of great points. And I'm looking behind you, and there's so much inspiration, right? Persistent, hard work, ethic, integrity, communications, just from what I see, passion, right? And the example I kind of want to give to everybody is that, like, think about Blockbuster, right? We were having this conversation the other day, right? Think about Blockbuster. Why do you guys think Blockbuster went out of business? It's because they didn't innovate, right? Innovation is so big. And, why do you think Netflix has absolutely taken over the world, right? Or they pretty much put Blockbuster out of business, right? So what I want to ask and really just ingrain and plant in a lot of your guys' mind is, how are you guys innovating your personal brand right now? How are you guys innovating your business right now? What are you doing going into this recession, going into this market shift, right? I don't want to say the R word, so sorry for that. Going into this shift, right? How are we going to innovate to also stay relevant? What are you going to go above and beyond for? Because the ones that are really going to come out on top during this shift are the ones that are going to go above and beyond for their clients, right? I'll tell you right now, when I have, the opportunity to sit down with a client, yeah, like I said, it makes great money. But beyond that, the feelings that I feel and the gratitude that I get from my clients, like, I can't put a price on that, because they're so, like, grateful, right? So how are you guys innovating? How are you guys going above and beyond for your clients? A great way to do that is with the technologies, with the support system, with everything that TFA Champions and that we are doing. And yeah, I mean, we have a great team of attorneys, 4 of them here in California, about 35 employees on our estate planning team throughout the United States. So the support system is definitely there. Just to kind of reiterate what Brooke was saying, I mean, kind of like when you guys think about innovation, like, things are not being done like they were back in the day. We literally have technology, systems, and procedures in place inside of our company that we could easily just make an underwriting approval and things very easy for you guys as agents to literally do in a matter of 30 minutes, right? It's just applying. It's the application process, right? And to grow any business, we constantly have to be integrating, evolving, staying relevant, right? One of the ideas, a lot of you guys, like, saw the Super Bowl, right? This past weekend, right? And Rihanna, right? She was the star of, like, the Super Bowl. I think she actually ended up getting more views. The halftime show got more views than the actual game. I saw a stat for it. But my question is, like, how many times has Rihanna reinvented herself to stay relevant in her profession? What about you guys as real estate agents? Maybe some of you guys have been in the industry 10, 15, 20 years. You've been through ups and downs, right? Which is awesome. But my question to you guys, if you want to truly make this a career and you're passionate about it, you're passionate about helping people, what are you guys doing to innovate your business and your personal brand, right? That's just my question to you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Pablo. I think we kind of covered everything that I wanted to cover, and expanded on everything. And you were the perfect person for this live, just with your experience and the fact that you've helped me, again, getting into this business. But yeah, I'm just going to express my gratitude towards you for coming on this live, for, bringing all this knowledge to everyone listening, to all the RE/MAX Champions agents. So thank you so much, Pablo. I appreciate you.
You got it, Brooke. Anything you need to do or anything that you need help with, let me know. You know, I got your back. Say hi to your mom for me. Say hi to everybody over there for me. I'm super proud and really excited for what you guys have coming. I know that the next 5, 10, 15 years for you is going to be massive. So I'm completely behind you and full support of you guys.
Thank you. And below is going to be our information. So if you're still tuned in, thank you so much for joining us today. I will be having these lives monthly. And my whole goal with these lives is to really just educate you guys, to better support you guys, inform you guys on what we're doing here at TFA Champions and how you can be a part of it. And if you're looking for something new, looking for something to add to your business, or maybe just getting a new environment, a new business opportunity, again, I'm here. I would love to talk to you. My information's below. If you're interested in becoming an agent, reach out to me. We can have a meeting. We can definitely talk about if this line of business aligns with your goals and, you know, again, how you want to service your clients and be of service in the world. But I will be having these monthly. So again, thank you so much to those of you who joined. Also, if you need any type of service, income protection, retirement planning, a living trust, I'm also a resource. I would love to help you in that way. I would love to assist you guys. So thank you so much for joining in. Have a good rest of your day.